Hello and welcome to Startup India, the show where we go beyond pitch decks and LinkedIn posts to decode how India's boldest founders are building something from nothing. I'm Rachit, and today I bring to you a story of speed, 60 minutes or less, to be precise. But what's faster than delivery? Disruption. Rajat Gupta is building Repill, a startup that promises to deliver life-saving medicines in under an hour by partnering with your neighborhood pharmacy. No dark stores, no big warehouses, just tech meeting trust. Today, we will talk to Rajat about breaking into a legacy industry, trust in a business, quitting a cushy job, launching from scratch, and much more. Let's dive in. Rajat, welcome to Startup India. Explain for our audiences, what is Repill?
Sure. Firstly, thanks a lot, Rachit, for having me on the show. It's amazing to be here. So Repill is basically a pharmacy aggregator platform, which with the vision that we want to add convenience to our customers' lives, with the goal of delivering medicines within under 60 minutes to them. On a simpler word, Repill is what Uber is for taxis or Zomato is for restaurants. In similar way, Repill is that for pharmacy. We're trying to help digitalize those pharmacy, have a wider presence, and also along the lines add more convenience to our customers.
Right. So just out of curiosity, there are, this is an industry there are a lot of large players that are already in there, right? So for example, there's Startup 1mg, there's Pharmacy, you hear NetMeds, Apollo 24/7. How are you different than all of those brands?
Sure. I think firstly, those two names that you've mentioned, I think those are great companies. Being a founder, I can understand how much effort and pain they must have gone through to be where they are today. So I think they are doing an amazing job. Repill is a different platform based on a different model. We basically do not work with our own dark stores or centralized warehouses. We instead empower those local pharmacies because in India, we have pharmacies in every corner and street. So my vision was, why should we build a parallel dark store model where we can actually empower those pharmacies, have a wider digital presence, increase their revenue, and also add convenience to our customers' lives.
Can you just explain for our audience, what is a dark store?
So typically a dark store is basically a store that you wouldn't see out in the market as a shop. It would be just somewhere in maybe in the corner of a street or some area that you wouldn't go to, and they would usually, it wouldn't have a retail storefront. It would basically stock up all the inventory and basically deliver it from there. Traditionally, I would say it's more like a warehouse, but on a smaller scale.
So for example, Tata 1mg or Pharmacy, they have their own warehouses, and when you place an order, they go to those warehouses and pick that medicine up and deliver it.
I believe so. They have central warehouses. If you order online, they would ship it from there. Or if they are targeting a quicker delivery models, then probably since they have pharmacies in certain areas, so they would basically deliver from their respective pharmacies around that area.
And what Repill is trying to do is, instead of working on that model, you want to work with local pharmacies. And when you get an order, you pick up the medicine from the local pharmacy and deliver it.
Right.
To the consumer.
Repill is a technology platform. We are not an e-pharmacy. We're a technology platform. We connect those dots. We connect the missing technology aspect of this pharmacy chain that we have as of now. So as I had mentioned earlier, we're basically enabling all our customers to have a quicker access to medicines. Along the way, we are also helping those local chemists and those pharmacies who are working so hard to grow their revenue and business have a digital presence, reach out to wider customer audience, and be able to cater to more people and generate some more revenue.
But just out of curiosity, Rajat, I'm assuming that I understand what you're talking about, this model, and it sounds like somebody must have tried this. Like, why wouldn't a Pharmacy or 1mg follow the same trend? Why would they create their own
because I think even when we were trying to solve this problem, it wasn't easy. I think I feel opening a store somewhere and selling medicines online, that's traditional e-commerce. That's always an easier way to go about it. But if you actually go in the root problems and try to solve and work with the system that already exists, it's obviously the more difficult part for anyone to solve. So that's probably obviously I cannot answer like why they chose with this, why they went with this model. But for us, a bigger problem that we wanted to solve was to digitalize these pharmacies and have a better growth online.
So, can you explain to me what is the current system in India on how the medicines reach to a consumer, and what are the big challenges in the current way that you're trying to solve for?
Right. So I would say usually a customer has two options. If you wanted to get medicines, one is you would either go up to your local pharmacy and buy it from there. So a lot of times, firstly, it adds a little bit of inconvenience in your life especially in today's time where people are used to just ordering everything and anything from the comfort of their home. You'll have a little bit of inconvenience to go out and order the medicines to buy the medicines from the market. The other issue that we've seen a lot of people face usually is you would go up to your local chemist and they wouldn't have all the medicines that you wanted. In that case, you would hop on from one pharmacy to another to get all the prescription medicines, all the products that you want. Then the other side of option that you would have is basically you would go online on one of these platforms and you would order medicines from there, which until 6 months ago were delivering medicines with a timeline of 12 hours, 24 hours or 48 hours. And I feel like in healthcare, in today's time where we can get tomatoes, onions in 10 minutes, then maybe not 10 minutes, but access to healthcare services and access to medicine should be faster, not 1 day or 2 days. So that's the kind of problem that we are trying to solve by working with local pharmacies, empowering them and give customers a faster access to these products.
And how big is the pharma market in India?
So in India, e-pharmacy market at this point is 3 billion plus, which as per the numbers is expected to reach anywhere about 7 billion plus by 2030. So I would say it's a huge market, and India is one of the biggest pharmaceutical markets in the world.
And are the goals in mind that, maybe by X year or 1 year or 2 year, this is the share of market that ideally we would want to host on ourselves?
Right. So as of now, we are a small company. So our goal is to solve problem for people. And ideally, we would probably like to have our presence in more and more cities in India and be able to help out to more and more people who suffer this problem daily, day in and day out, where they are unable to find the medicines on time when they need it or their family member need it.
I want to actually dive deeper into what Repill is trying to do. But before that, I just want to take a quick step back into your life, right? I'm very curious to actually understand how you started this. Talk to me a little bit about your background. Like, how did you even think of this? What were you doing before founding Repill earlier this year?
Right. So I am a software engineer by profession. So a coder by profession. So I was basically, I studied at Sindhya School in Gwalior for my education. Post that, I went to the UK at University of Liverpool. I did my undergraduation, studied engineering there. After that, I went to the US in 2016. I was studying at University of California, Santa Cruz, computer science. Post that,
what year was that?
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So post that, I got a job in Silicon Valley in California. So I was working there as a programmer, as a software engineer. So if anyone else watching the show, they would relate to me. Like as a software engineer, what makes you excited is to solve problems. That's what we do. Like we find problems and solve that with code. So that's what excites me and drives the passion to be able to find problems and build a product around it. So I could see India as a huge upcoming market with technology when it comes to technology. And I could see certain gaps in healthcare that I thought that, okay, maybe I can build some technology driven products around it, and we could help solve those problems using technology. So this is where the whole vision started, and I started exploring the market. So at that point, funny enough, I was comparing medicine industry with how things happen in the US versus here. One of the things I was looking at earlier was paper prescriptions versus the digital prescriptions that you see outside India. So that's how the whole journey started, and eventually got to Repill.
But just talk to me a little bit more about this, right? Because a large number of people in India, especially software engineer, and again, I'm trying to not sound generic, but the goal is, hey, we want to move to the Silicon Valley, right? That's the ultimate goal. Your goal didn't end there. Your goal actually started from there, that you wanted to come back to India and start this. Where did the seed start? Where did you sow the seed for Repill?
So I would like to say I'm a risk taker. I've always been. I believe in giving more and more back to the society with my profession and the work that I can do. So at some point I felt a little stagnant with the job, that okay, I still want to keep growing. I still want to keep learning. And
which year was this?
I would say post-COVID.
Right.
I think COVID made a lot of people realize differently about a lot of different things. So also being so far away in the US, away from my family, that was also something that would basically was basically a trigger point, that okay, hey, I'm in the valley sitting so far and my parents are alone in India. So, and India's upcoming booming market. So why not use my work, use my technology, use the technology to build some great products, and also that gives me the opportunity to be close to my family.
And how did you stumble upon e-pharmacy as a thought?
Right. So as I was mentioning earlier, so the research started with comparing how prescriptions work in India. So I was comparing how prescriptions work in the US versus in India. For example, in the US, usually when you go visit a doctor, the doctor would ask you okay, hey, what's the nearest pharmacy close to your house? So you'll be like, okay, I have a CVS. This is a CVS store
right
next to my house, and the doctor would directly send your prescription to that pharmacy. And once the prescription is ready, the pharmacy would basically reach out to you that okay, hey, your order is ready to dispense out. You can come and collect it. So I was looking at how in India, on the other side, we're still writing handwritten prescriptions. And I started working on solving that problem. So then we started exploring other side of issues where the trending thing was to get anything in 10 minutes. But this is back in 2023 when I would put it on Google, like fast medicine delivery in India. There were not that many options available. So that's where the spark started. And I thought that that's a genuine problem, especially that was just right few years after COVID, where we all know how things were really bad. Access to a lot of things was like a struggle. Be able to find medicines, oxygen cylinders, a lot of different things was like a big problem at that point. So I started thinking along those lines that maybe we can create a better pipeline connecting people digitally to pharmacies, and in the future maybe to other services that we have planned, and enable them to be able to have access to those easily versus how things were back then.
So I want to talk to you about your last day at your job, or the day when you realize that, you know what, this is it. Today is the day that I'm going to decide that I'm going to start something of my own. Do you remember that day?
Yeah, I mean, I still remember the day I had sent out that resignation email to my manager.
Yeah.
I think you can never be 100% sure. There will always be uncertainty in your mind, but you always need to believe in your vision or an idea that you want to build. That motivates you to take that step forward. Believe in your vision, believe in why you want to do what you want to do. And if the answer is like, if you think that, okay, this is really important to me, I really want to solve this problem, then take that step, because you will never have an answer which you will never be able to convince yourself 100% that, okay, that's the right thing. But there will always be a tiny doubt in your mind. But believe in yourself if you think that there's a problem worth solving in the world.
But you were fairly in a very well-paying job there, right? How difficult was the decision of leaving that and starting from zero?
It was, I mean, it's been quite a journey in the last 1.5 years. My thought process at that point was, I believe in the mindset that I want to keep learning and keep growing. So at that point I felt like with my job I wasn't really growing enough. So if we take the salary part aside or those monetary things aside, I just felt like even if I take this step as of now, I don't have anything to lose, because at the end of the day it's going to be a new challenge that I'll work on. If I want things to work out, even if say there are always chances for how you plan things might not go in the similar way. So I always thought that even if things don't work out, at the end of it, I'll learn a lot. I'll grow 20 times more than what I would if I stay here. So that was one of the bigger motivating factors for me to take that step and then decide to come back to India.
So that sounds like, that you were very capable of taking that risk, like that risk factor, or understanding that, hey, I'm willing to take that risk. That needs to be very much ingrained in your system.
Yeah, I think I believe like entrepreneurs are risk takers. They see the world a little bit differently, and they want to make that change. They see a problem and they want to chase that. So that's the kind of mentality I would say people usually have who are trying to take that risk and move forward.
How did your family react?
I think it was like a mixed emotion. Obviously, like you know how Indian families are, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the reason why I'm asking.
Yeah, they at one point they were like, okay, are you really sure that you want to do that? But somehow they were a little supportive about that, because implementing this meant that I'll be back in India and be closer to them. So somehow that was I would say a convincing factor for them. So yeah, I mean it's not easy to it wasn't easy to convince them, but
what did they say? Just out of like when you informed them about the decision that, hey, you know what, I'm going to quit and I'm going to start something of my own, what was their reaction?
So yeah, I mean, they were not very happy initially.
Right.
Then I had to explain them like why I'm thinking this, why do I want to take that step. So it needed some convincing, and eventually like they were okay with that. They were not very happy, but they were okay with that.
Do you think if they would not have been convinced, you would have still taken the jump?
I think yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Papa or me. But somehow it's an important factor for you to take that step, because if you have support from your family, it's very motivating for you, because this is a very lonely journey as an entrepreneur, and when you get started, there are a lot of hurdles that you go through. So having a family support is very, very important, I would say, initially, in the initial few years.
Right. Now, talk to me about how did you mentally prepare yourself that, hey, you know what, on this journey, I will have a lot of challenges, but I'm going to be prepared. How do you mentally prepare yourself?
Right. I think you have to stay strong. Things will never go as you thought they would. You can have the best of plan in the world, but when you start executing it, you will have 20 different problems every day that you would not have imagined otherwise. So I think you just have to keep going. You just have to believe in the end goal, that what got me started, why I started what I started, and what's my end goal. That's the motivating factor, and you have to just go at it every day and just keep going. I think don't lose faith in yourself, and believe in yourself. I would say that's one of the most important things that motivates you. Yeah, be persistent, don't give up, and then keep going at it.
But I'm sure there must be days when you are at your lowest, right? There's so many challenges that have happened on that day. Does that make you wonder that, oh my God, why did I do this? Or does that motivate you that, no, I took this decision because of ABC reason and I need to continue it without feeling low?
Yeah, I think you'll have those kind of days a lot, like where you feel really exhausted and tired, and like you just doubt yourself that I don't think this is going anywhere. And there are a lot of tough days on this entrepreneurship journey, especially in the early few years. So I just feel like in the last 1.5 years, there have been a lot of times where I just felt like, why did I take this step? But then it's just in the moment, like when you look back at it few hours later, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. Like that's why I started. Like I have to keep going. I cannot give up so easily. So I think the most important factor would be to believe in your vision and believe in yourself and don't give up, because I feel a lot of people lose because they give up. If you keep trying, you'll get somewhere. Maybe your goal is to get here, but if you keep trying, you'll get maybe here, but you'll be above from where you started at eventually. But then a lot of people, they just give up because their end goal is just to get here. So eventually, like, you will get there, but then even tiny little success matters, and tiny little success is important. So look for those tiny achievements and tiny wins that you can have to keep you motivated and keep you going.
That's actually very interesting. Talk to me, Rajat, about your first day. Okay, now you've incorporated Repill. What was the first day like? What did you think of in building the organization?
Oh, it was all a mess. I think I was...
Detail it out.
So I was in a job. So it was the first time I was doing business, and then coming back to India, starting a business by yourself was a lot of challenge, learning about everything, like building a team. So it was like a mess, but then you just learn with time. I think that's no matter how many books you read or how many shows you can watch, it's the experience that teaches you the real lesson. So you have to keep going at it. Every day is a challenge. Every day you learn something once you're done, and then you keep moving forward.
But what were the things that you did on day zero?
So I started So my biggest goal I had in mind before I was planning to move back was that I wanted to build a good team. So I started planning out like how I can connect with good people, how I can connect with good engineers, how can I connect with good people who can be a part of the team. So that was one of the first initial things. And also it taught me that there are obviously a lot of, as a software engineer, all you see is like product managers, coders. But when you start the business, you see the other side of the world, which is, okay, there's finance, there are accountants, there are CAs, there are bankers, there are lawyers. So you have to deal with everyone when you're working through or building a business. So I think just planning out all that was what was happening in the initial few days, getting your licenses, getting your registrations, and creating pitch decks. So yeah, those were the early few days, early few weeks of the company, I would say.
And one of the big things about starting something new is validating the idea, right? Now, when you validate that on a pitch deck, or when you build an idea on a pitch deck, it's very different than when you go on ground. How did the validation of idea happen for Repill? Did you do a pilot with local chemists? How did that happen?
Yeah, we did. So we launched end of January, in South Delhi. So the early few wins, I would say, is firstly getting the support from the pharmacies. One of the biggest win for us initially was the first service SLA that we signed with the pharmacy after doing...
SLA would be?
Service level agreement, after doing all the KYC checks of the drug license, etc. So that was one of the first wins that we were able to convince the pharmacy, because I feel like one of the biggest doubts I had initially when I was planning and building this model was the support from pharmacies. So the first pharmacy that we had on board, it was a big win, and we actually celebrated in the company. We had a cake cutting and all that. From the user side, I think one of the orders that we had was for insulin delivery. So we understood that if someone is ordering chronic medicines from our platform, it's because they believe in us and they believe that we can do a good job. So that was a very important, one of the important deliveries that we had, and we were able to successfully deliver that with all the precautions like ice packs and all within under 45 minutes. So that was another win for us.
How did you market initially to your consumers?
So we've been trying to go door to door. Like we've done pamphlet marketing in newspapers. We've done auto branding. We've gone to a lot of different communities in Delhi where we've put in our posters on their gates. Then recently we had a health camp in Delhi where we saw amazing footfall, like people were excited to get their tests done and all. So we're trying to engage more and more with the community so that they can learn more about Repill, they can learn more about what we are doing, how we can benefit them. And yeah, I mean, it's still a growing process. Like, we're still learning more and more from everything that we do. We get feedback and we work on it and we build a better product.
And just the early roadblocks, Rajat. I know that you signed a local pharmacy, you got an insulin delivered. That validates the idea strongly, and that gives you a lot of confidence as an entrepreneur, right? But at the same time, I'm sure there would be some really big challenges after you launched the product. Talk to me of one specific early roadblock which you thought was a really, really big problem, and how did you overcome that?
Right. So I think roadblocks have been a part of the journey, pre-launch and post-launch. Pre-launch every day was a struggle and a hustle. So every day there would be some new when you think, okay, now it's good, this week is going to be fine, like you just have to keep going at it. Something will pop up, like, okay, there's something or the other problem. Post-launch, I think one of the bigger issues that we faced is to keep the pharmacies engaged and making sure they're coming online on time and making sure that they are able to provide the inputs for the orders that are coming in. So
when you say engaged, what do you exactly
so
mean?
Our process, life cycle for an order for the pharmacy is in 3 stages. One is the order comes in, because we first stage, basically the order comes in for review. Then the order comes in for packaging if the user has made the payment. And then once the packaging is done, before the collection happens from the delivery partner, that's the final life cycle of the order. So for the first life cycle, where the order comes in for review, we have to make sure that whenever there's a new order, the pharmacies are actually reviewing them properly and everything is fine. That's one of the areas where we're still working on improving how we can make it even smarter and better. But that kind of an engagement was a little bit of a challenge initially for us as a product.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, like, let's say if I place an order, which pharmacy has that medicine also something that you will have to ascertain, right? Because what if the delivery partner goes to a certain pharmacy and it's not there, then that becomes a...
Right. So we never take the order until we have a confirmation of the products that's available to the pharmacy. So how it usually works is, so we have a big technology platform. We have a dedicated mobile-facing application for our users. Then we have an application for our pharmacy partners. Then we have an application for our delivery partner.
Right.
So
3 apps.
3 apps, and then we have our own internal application to manage everything from the back. We basically, how it works is, we are only serviceable in a particular area if we have any pharmacy partner within 5 to 7 kilometers of circular radius in that area where you want to place an order. So if that's not the case, you won't be able to place an order on the app. So once you pick, we've curated a big catalog of the products which are mostly available at pharmacies and the popular medicines, along with the option for you to be able to upload a prescription. So once you place an order, suppose we have 5 pharmacies in that area, your order goes to all those pharmacies for a quick review check. This is all automated. The pharmacies just provides that input quickly that, okay, this is the medicine that I have and this is out of stock. Once it's done, after all this review happens in like minutes, and once it's done, our algorithm basically decides that which is the best pharmacy to fulfill your order in real time. That there are several driving factors like fulfillment ratio, closeness to that customer's home, so that the delivery distance is less and the delivery fee is low. So different factors, that algorithm picks the best option for you, and then we come back to the customer, and all this happens within minutes. And we come back to the customer and give you the option. Okay, mostly, ideally, it's like 100% fulfillment. We are able to find everything. There are times where the certain particular product is unavailable. So for non-prescription based products, pharmacies are able to offer suggestions for like alternative products that you can buy, not for prescription based products, because we cannot allow that legally and by law. And then once we get back to the customer with the final order in the cart, then it's up to the customer to either modify or remove any product at that point, and post that they can just make the payment on the app. And that's when we find delivery partner assign the order to the pharmacy for packaging, so that we don't want that the user has made the payment came in and those products are not available. So we check, our algorithm checks everything, and only once we have a confirmation within minutes, we get that order to the pharmacy for packaging, and we send out delivery partner to go and pick it up. I would say the whole life cycle, which I just explained, from the moment you initiate an order and so the searching is done, ideally we promise to deliver that under 60 minutes. But most of the average delivery timelines for us for this entire journey has been about 30 to 40 minutes so far.
Right. So I want to go back to what you mentioned about your first customer, right? That the fact that they ordered insulin, which is a high trust product. And I want to specifically talk about this whole trust factor, specifically in medicine, right? So medicines, my understanding is a very high trust industry. When I, let's say, the current players that are there in the market, sure, there is a very high level of trust because either they own hospitals or, there is a big brand behind it. So there's a trust factor. How do you think that people will focus on trust with a new platform? And do you think that that's a big challenge that you will have to solve for?
I think trust takes time. When we do a good service, when we provide a good platform, a good product, trust takes time. Trust will build eventually. People trust, I think, takes it just doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while for people to trust a platform and then be able to use it on a regular basis. So that's a growing process that we are working on to do a good job from our end, so that the customer can try and use our platform more and more. But I think it takes a while before the customer can trust you on a platform. But all I would say is our heart is at the right place. We're trying to do something good for the community also, connecting them digitally to the pharmacies, trying to solve those missing gaps. So people should give it a try. And if they don't think it's worth it, then obviously we learn from that feedback and then still improve.
So one of the key challenges that as a consumer people have faced is, you hear this a lot, which is fake medicines, right? So when I order a medicine online, let's say from Tata 1mg, there's a brand of trust with Tata that's there, and I genuinely would trust that, and I'll order it. How big is a problem when you on the other hand, for example, the problem that you're trying to solve is you're trying to incorporate the local pharmacies into the ecosystem, right? And organizing the local pharmacies. How big is the problem of fake medicines in that, and how are you addressing that problem and solving for it?
Right, great question. So we have a very strict zero tolerance policy against counterfeit products. So before we onboard a pharmacy partner, firstly, we never do it online. Our team visits that pharmacy and we do a thorough KYC. We have a thorough KYC process. We vet their drug licenses, their GST registrations, and we only onboard pharmacies which have some reputation in that area. Along with that, if there's any dispensing of fake products on our platform, as I mentioned, we have zero tolerance for that. That pharmacy would be banned from our platform. We wouldn't work with that anymore. So there are a lot of measures we are doing to ensure that there are only genuine products that are being dispensed from those pharmacies. Along with that, certain medicines nowadays, they've started to have a QR code on the backside of it. So we are working on a functionality on the app also, like for such products where there's a QR code, usually you can scan those and check the legitimacy of those products. So we're planning to add those kind of features along on the app that users can also add more awareness to make the customer also more aware about the kind of products that they are purchasing and the kind of the legitimacy of the product.
Right. Just talk to me about the prescription drugs. Right. How does prescription drugs work on your platform?
Right. So by law, we cannot dispense any medicine that is not issued, which requires a prescription, and it's not issued by the doctor. It's not mentioned on the prescription. So first thing that happens is whenever you are ordering a prescription-based medicines, our platform requires a valid prescription for you to be able to place an order for that. When the customer provides a prescription to order any medications, it goes through a thorough check of pharmacists. So order is rejected right away if the prescription is not valid, where there are certain criteria that a valid prescription needs to have a doctor name, doctor stamp, patient name, all that information for it to be valid. If the prescription seems to be invalid, our team rejects that right away and we do not let that order go through. We are also working on another feature which is based on prescription. We haven't rolled out that because we are trying to increase the accuracy of that model. So a lot of times it's very difficult for people to read prescriptions because we
Correct.
all know doctors' handwritings are like really great. So we are working on that feature using AI and NLP, that natural language processing, that to basically extract prescription information from. We'll be able to scan the prescription and we can extract medication information from the prescription.
That's actually, it's a great point. How do you try and solve for that? Because we've seen doctor handwritings be so different and at times it's not readable. How will...
So we are using technology. We haven't rolled out that feature yet on the app because we are working on the efficiency of that and the correctness of that. Once we feel that we've reached a level where it could be, there would still be errors because it's a machine learning model. It would need more and more training. But once we feel like, okay, we've reached a point where now it could be rolled out to our customers, we'll add that functionality. We'll roll out that feature on the app. So essentially what it would do is you take a picture of your prescription from your camera, or you upload it via your gallery. Our algorithm basically, first, if it's a handwritten prescription or a digitally written prescription, first we extract all the content out of that prescription, convert it into digital text, especially which is handwritten. Then we apply like NLP, natural language processing models on top of that to basically make sense of that data, because as of now we've just converted that data digitally, so it's dumb. There's no meaning to it. So then we apply different models on it, pharmaceutical related, to extract medicine information, because usually when you have a prescription and a doctor writes a medicine, there are 4 components to it. One is the medicine name, then you have the dosage, then you have a form if it's a tablet or something, and then you have the frequency. So we are working on extracting as much of that information from that prescription, and so that we are able to add that product directly to your cart. Because a lot of times you want to order something, but you're unable to read it. So
just talk to me a little bit about working with local pharmacies.
Right.
What are the big challenges of working with local pharmacies? Are they also like, because you have a certain amount of time that you have to deliver the medicines by. Do you see challenges even as small as ki, okay, fine, dekhte hain ki nahi hai, we'll see, we'll move a little slower. What are some of the challenges that you face there? And how are they reacting to this?
Right. So I think pharmacies have welcomed us with open arms. If I be honest, last week has been crazy. Like, we got emails, requests from all pharmacies all across India that we want to join your platform, we want to become a pharmacy partner. There are certain people who have chains of pharmacies, like 15, 20 pharmacies. There are some hospital pharmacies who would like to onboard with us. So I think pharmacies have welcomed us with open arms, because I feel like there's no company like ours who's actually not competing against them, but helping them grow their business. We are sort of like friends for them, because we are helping them increase their revenue. We are helping them increase visibility towards customers. Challenges, I would say, is, again, so once the pharmacies are onboarded, and keeping them engaged has been a little bit of a challenge, but our delivery timelines are thought and kept in, we've thought of those with speed in mind, that even with 60 minutes or 45 minutes, I don't see why the pharmacy partner should not be able to review the product or pack the product in a timely manner, because that's a sufficient amount of time for anyone to be able to do that work. So, but I think it's an ever-growing and learning process. So we are learning more and more with feedback. One of the goals we also have is to make those pharmacy software smarter eventually, to help them not just get more online orders, but to be able to cut down on the inventory costs, have a smart inventory management platform where they can have AI-driven insights that, okay, these are the products that you've sold, these are the products that are popular in the area. So if suppose someone is holding an inventory of 50 lakhs, they can maybe cut down on it and just they just have to keep half of that and can make same amount of profit or even more.
Rajat, just talk to me about the business model of Repill, right? Is it commission per sale? Are there just delivery fee that you're charging the consumers?
So we basically there is some lead generation fee that we charge from the pharmacies, basically once we dispense an order through them. Other than that, there is a minimal platform fee that we charge just to keep us going and then keep us rolling. Then we also have delivery partners. So the delivery fee that we charge are basically calculated very smartly. That varies depending on the delivery distance.
Right.
So basically, we try to basically charge the customer as minimum as we can based on the delivery distance, and whatever amount is earned from that is basically, if the driver is working on a per delivery model, then it directly goes to that driver, and then even including the tips, if someone pays tips on our platform, it goes to the driver.
What would be the average order value of
so right now the average order value, since we are a new platform, it's about 500 rupees. We plan to increase that to maybe 700-800 rupees in the next few months.
Is that the average order value for pharmacies, online pharmacies in India?
Number is a little bit higher, but I think, as you had mentioned earlier, it takes time to build the trust. So once people have more and more trust on the platform, they'll probably use it more for a lot of different needs. Because when you go to a pharmacy just doesn't sell medicines. They have a lot of products, OTC, over-the-counter products like your body wash or different kind of products that doesn't require prescription. So we have listed out all of those on our platform, and we want the pharmacy to be also able to sell all those products via us. So once the customer has trust in our platform, they can use it to order those essential things on a daily basis as well.
What's powering the back end of Repill? Would you call yourself just as a tech company, or is it also logistic?
So we are a tech company. It's a big technology platform. Everything we've built is cutting edge, based on my experience and learning in Silicon Valley in California. Our whole model is very advanced. Like, we use a lot of advanced algorithms and technology stack at the back end, latest in the market, to be able to empower everything that's happening in real time.
And how do you plan to scale? I know that you started with South Delhi. You've just launched in Noida, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
How do you plan to scale, considering cities are just so different culturally also? Do you see different models for different cities?
Right. So one of the biggest benefits that we have as a company is we are a technology platform. We are not an e-pharmacy. We are not managing the inventory. We are not managing the stock. So for us, scalability is much faster compared to a dark store based model. Essentially, it's the same thing as like Uber. If Uber were to run all the taxis on their own, then they wouldn't have been able to scale all across the globe so quickly. So in the next coming few months, we are looking at entire Delhi NCR, including entire Delhi and Gurgaon. And then post that, we are working towards raising some funds, and post that we would be looking parallelly towards tier 2 cities and also tier 1 cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, where in metros people want that kind of a convenience. But also we would like to help out people in tier 2 and tier 3 cities where access to medicines is even a bigger problem there, and people are unable to find medicines on time when they need them the most.
Right. And have you projected like a 1-year goal as to how many number of cities you want to be?
We plan to, in the next 6 months, we plan to basically onboard about 200 to 300 pharmacy partners. Ideally, by the end of this year, we would like to be present in the entire Delhi NCR region and Mumbai, Bangalore, and then surrounding tier 2, tier 3 cities in those areas.
And once you're done with that, do you also plan to bring in, for example, other services like diagnostics, or is it too early for you to think about
it's great that you asked that. I think there's a notion that if you are a medicine platform, then you need to have like blood tests. So, but to disappoint you, that's not the kind of services we are looking to have as of now on the platform. However, we are looking on adding more services which are different from that. So Repill is not just a technology platform or a pharmacy platform. We want to build it a one-stop healthcare platform for someone who has issues such as finding ambulance, oxygen cylinders, nurses, physiotherapists. So those are the kind of healthcare attendants. So those are the kind of services we would be more focused on, because there are a lot of good companies doing great business on those fields, but they don't have the visibility. And a lot of times in emergency need, you are unable to figure out how to get those services or how to avail those services.
Right.
For example, nurses, a lot of our elderly parents, they need help a lot of times. So we want to work towards adding more of those kind of services, which could help people with a lot of different field, a lot of different areas in healthcare, or it could help people with a lot of different healthcare related services.
Right. What are the biggest learnings that you have faced as a founder in the last couple of months? Were there things that you believed in earlier, which now you have a completely different perspective on after becoming a founder?
Oh, definitely. So I think things never go as planned. So you always have a perfect picture in your mind that, okay, boom, I'll build this product, it's going to be like successful. But with time, with maturity as a founder, you learn that things change and you need to be ready to pivot. Like you cannot just think, okay, this is the vision I had from day one and this is the product that I'm building. One of the most important things as an early stage founder, I believe, and I suggest to everyone around me, is that learn from customer feedback. So people say, and I agree, that initially as you launch your product, do things that don't scale, like go deliver the order yourself, for example, in our industry, or learn from feedback from customers, because those are the potential customer. The obviously these things are not scalable. You cannot go and deliver product to the entire country on your own. But what makes it, what happens is when you do these kind of things, you learn so much from the customers that you initially thought, okay, I want to do this, but then the requirement is the reality, or the ground reality is something else. So when you actually go and take their feedback, you learn something new that you didn't even know. That helps you pivot your product a little bit, reiterate it. So, and you kept on doing that. You keep on doing that till you find like, you feel like, okay, now I have a product market fit and it's a great product. People are liking it.
Is there an example that you can share of something that you learned from a customer?
Right. So one of the things that we've seen, like initially when we started, we thought that, okay, we are just going to restrict to that, okay, if you have a prescription, only then you can order medicines on our platform. But I think in India, a lot of people are unable to get a prescription because maybe they need a medicine in urgency and they do not have the time to visit a doctor, or they are maybe in bed just with a lot of pain. So one of the things, like we had a lot of orders where people did not have prescriptions and they are unable to provide it to us, and we as a company cannot let that go through. So that's also like something that a lot of companies are doing. So one of the feature that we are working on as of now, which we plan to roll out in the next 1 or 2 weeks, is to have a free teleconsultation with a doctor on our platform that they could schedule. And if once after talking to the doctor, if the doctor thinks that, okay, they are genuinely sick and they need this, then they can prescribe those medicines to them, which would help them also as a customer, and we can also follow all the compliance needed for our platform.
Anybody who's watching this show who wants to start something of their own but is on the fence, they're not sure of when to start or how to start, what's your 2 pieces of advice to them?
Sure. I would actually break it down to like maybe 1 or 2 phases, which are corresponding to like the phases in a early stage entrepreneur's journey. So the phase 1 would be the ideation phase, where you come up with an idea, like how do you validate that? So I would say like at that stage, what's very important is to vet the idea properly, that because as a business person, as a product, you have to first find a problem. You find a problem that you're trying to solve. If it's a technology-driven problem or something else, you first try to find a problem that, okay, this is a problem that I see in the market. Then you vet it properly. You talk to people and get the feedback that, okay, is this a problem that they face regularly? How frequently do they face? So how big is the problem? Once you find a problem, you should see how big that problem is. Does it happen on a regular basis to a customer? And third thing that's very important for you to see is, if I start solving this problem, is it scalable enough? For example, if you find a problem that's only happening in a particular set of area or a particular community, then it wouldn't really go very far as a startup. So once you know, okay, you found a problem, okay, it's happening a lot with this group of people. But the third thing you should check is like, is that problem really scalable? Right. It could be scalable on different city level, different country level, or that depends on the business model or the business idea, basically. So I think that's the kind of initial research everyone should do. Don't just go sign resignation, sorry, but that's the reality. Like, do the hard work, do the research pre-hand. Just don't feel like, okay, now I'm going to resign and become an entrepreneur, because life after that is very difficult. It's a lonely journey. Even though you'll have a team, but then a lot of decisions are just made by you. People look up to you. So you have to believe in what you thought of building. So it's very important you vet the idea at that stage. Phase 2 of an entrepreneur would be building up a team. So once you take that risk and you start building a company, I think one of the most important factors is hiring good people. I really believe in hiring good people, because those are the people who will lay the foundation of the initial few years of your company. I read it somewhere, and I also believe that I've been doing it so far, but I want to hire the first 100 employees of my company. If we get that far, the first 100 employees of my company by on my own. I don't want to hire.
You want to hire personally?
On my personally. So because I really feel that initial few employees of your company are very important. It's a product is one thing, but the employees and the people working towards your mission is also equally important. And luckily, I feel very happy because the team I have right now, we are a team of 12 people. I'm very lucky that I've been able to build a great team, because I see the same passion in their eyes as I see in myself. Whenever there's a win, we are all equally excited about any success stories that we have, or any milestone that we achieve. So I'm very lucky to be able to have that kind of support from my team, that I see them having the same vision towards Repill as I see in my eyes. So I think that's a very important factor, to have a good team.
So 12 down, 88 more to go.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Rajat, last few questions, and this is more of a bit of a rapid fire.
Right.
Just so that we understand Rajat, the entrepreneur, and your mindset on how to think, right? So my first question, your first big aha moment.
I think when we got the first order working, when everything worked for us, on the platform,
Lovely. A founder who you look up to?
Elon Musk. I've always looked up to him since a very long time, even well before a lot of people knew about him. So I would say I've been following him since 2015, 2016. So
what about him?
So one thing I like the most about him is that the kind of entrepreneur he is. Usually what we see is that someone comes up with an idea, they make it big, and then they either cash out and then enjoy their life, or they just keep working on that. So I feel like I believe in building good products and helping the society. I want to do my bit towards with technology to help the society and bring it a little bit forward, because that's what advancement is like. So I see that passion in him, which is very inspiring, that he's been able to build companies, create good products, and then still he has that passion to keep building, which is solve a bigger problem every time. So that's what motivates me the most.
Right. A book or a podcast that changed the way you think?
I think it would be a biography on Elon Musk. It was written by, I think, Ashley Vance. It's one of the very inspiring book. I would highly recommend everyone to read that if they haven't already.
Awesome. One thing about the Indian healthcare system that you want to change right away?
I think faster access to things in this field. If we can provide faster services in other areas, then at least life-saving services could be faster a little bit.
Would you ever go back to a 9-to-5?
I would doubt, because once you have that entrepreneur bug in you, it's very difficult to just sit on your desk and be able to do 9-to-5.
Finally, your guilty pleasure.
It would basically be a guilty meal. I really love biryani.
And then we order the medicine from Repill. A question, Rajat, if somebody wants to reach out to you or to Repill, how should they reach out?
Sure, yeah. So we have a website. It's with the name of repill.com. So you can always go on our website and download the app. Also, for all the potential pharmacy partners, if you would like to join us, you can also go on our website, and there's a designated section for you to basically be able to request for a demo over there.
Thank you so much, Rajat. Really, really appreciate your time. And I think, we got to learn a lot from you. I hope viewers will get to learn a lot from you. And we wish you all the success for Repill.
Thank you so much. I really had a great time. It was really fun talking to you and answering all those questions. I really hope that people watching it are able to maybe learn little tiny bits about the entrepreneur journey, or tiny bits about Repill as a brand, and the kind of struggles that early stage entrepreneur has to go through.
Thank you for watching Startup India. If you enjoyed the conversation, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Join us again next week as we bring to you more stories.